Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm gonna walk through the iPad mini. If you have not used this before or seen this or are considering buying it, this device is worth its weight in gold. In this video, I'm gonna walk through all the tips and tricks and the reasons I love the iPad mini and why it is a great purchase. So I've been using this device for just about a year now, and I suspect that they'll be releasing a new one soon, so you might want to wait for that from when this video is published. But I'm just telling you, the size and weight and experience is so nice. As you can see here, I'm not going to go through the tech specs, but as you can see here, I have the iPad mini. It's probably like a 32 gig or the smallest one. I did not max out the gigabytes. I have an Apple case with it, this little trifold thing, and I also have the Apple Pencil. So it's a pretty full setup and it's really a great experience. I'm basically gonna go through 5 major points in this video. I'm gonna talk about the ways I use it. I'm gonna talk about some other things I really love about it, some of my favorite apps on it, and just the experience and how I use it day to day. So number one, the main thing I love about this is the size and weight. The screen size is just the right size. I feel like any bigger and it feels like a huge device. And then the weight is super light. And this is what I mean. This thing is easy to carry anywhere. It's small enough that it feels out of the way, but at the same time, it's light enough that I could be lying down on the couch and be able to watch a whole show without my arm getting tired. Have you ever tried to lay down and watch a show with your phone? You don't really notice holding up the phone, but if you try to do it with most iPads, it gets weighty and the experience isn't the best. This is light enough that when I hold it with one hand and I'm just laying there watching a show, I never actually realize that I'm holding it, which is nice. That's a nice feeling. And the best part is, back to the actual size of it, the viewing experience is 1,000 times better than your phone. Like, this is my mini TV anywhere I want to go. If I want to watch a YouTube video or a show, I don't watch a lot of shows, but if I am watching something, this is the best mini screen I could take with me anywhere. And the fact that it doubles up for all these other productivity features that I'm going to walk through now, it makes this thing so worthwhile. It's strong and sturdy too. It just feels really solid, and the size and the look and feel is really nice. Now, one thing they kind of struggled with and they kind of figured out is the actual buttons and how they work. So for example, to turn it up and turn it down, these buttons change control depending on how the screen is viewed, right? So if this button is up top like this, it becomes the way to turn it up. But if it's the opposite and it's at the bottom, the buttons change. So that gets a little confusing if it's laying down or something like that. But overall, the experience is really nice. I do wish they had Face ID on this. If that's the upgrade too that they do on the next one, that would be a game changer, because doing the fingerprint reader at the top it's not always the quickest, it's not always the fastest, and it's not always the best way to use it. It makes the process a little bit cumbersome sometimes to unlock the device. But again, we're talking about like a few milliseconds, nothing crazy here, or nothing like that's actually stressful. So, but those would be my 2 like small critiques there. Also, when it comes to the size, this is great for note taking. Have you ever seen somebody trying to use like a huge iPad and they pull out the Apple Pencil and they're like trying to write? It's a huge experience. Literally with these 2 things, I feel like it's so thin and it just carries itself so well that when I'm taking notes and I'm writing, the experience is really nice. Now, overall, I personally don't like taking notes on the iPad for like life, but the reason I love it is I use an app called Notable or Notability. And when you take notes, it can also audio record. This is really nice. It could also audio record so you can get the lecture notes and what you wrote at the same time. And it remembers where you wrote something in terms of the audio as well. So it can take you through the lecture, and when you wrote something down and why you wrote it down, it would be easy to find. I absolutely love that. And again, it's just better than pulling out some massive device, and it's also better than pulling out a laptop if no one else has a laptop. So if you're in a setting where people aren't using laptops to take notes, this is really easy to pull out without feeling like you're pulling out a huge device. And finally, again with the size, it's great for reading. I love using Kindle, but on my phone, it's a little bit too small. this reading experience is just the right amount of words. I feel like I'm reading a page of a book. And let me even compare it here to a book. So when you take a look at this book here, Building a Second Brain, literally it's the exact same dimensions. Like, I didn't even plan on talking about this in the video, but look at that. It's literally the same exact dimensions. It's a great way to read. The margins are perfect. It's lovely. All right, so all of that was point one. Now point two, it's a great evening device that helps you get off your phone or off your laptop. So the reason I also really like this is because I like making space between my phone in the mornings and the evenings. So what does that mean? Well, I don't like to start work and have my phone next to me, but I do want to listen to music. Well, I could use this device to be my device that I connect to my headphones and listen to music on. At the same time, if I'm going to watch something before I go to sleep, I don't necessarily want my laptop and I don't necessarily want my phone because I could easily get distracted or think about other things and just get into procrastination or distraction and going through a bunch of apps and just checking accounts for no reason. So I separate a lot of business stuff and I keep that on my phone, and social media, I keep that on my phone. But my iPad is a great place if I want to watch YouTube, which you could say is social, but to me, the way I use it isn't like that. I could go onto YouTube, I could go onto any like Netflix or like Apple TV or anything like that, watch a show, but not feel inundated with all the other pressing stuff. If it's my laptop, it's all my work stuff. If it's my phone, it could be like social platforms and checking in emails and stuff like that. So this device is a great middle device between your laptop and your phone, and it makes a great device that just makes it easy for you to stay healthier when you are going through your day and not get stuck on necessarily having to have your phone next to you all day and night or having your laptop open all day and night. Now, the third thing is this, and as you can tell in this video, I honestly really love this iPad. That's why I'm doing this review. I ain't getting paid from Apple and I got no referral link. I'm doing this video because if you're thinking about the iPad, these are the main benefits that I have fallen in love with. Again, number one, the size is great. The weight is light. It's perfect. Number two, it's great as a middle device so I don't get caught with my phone all the time or with my laptop all the time. But number three, let's talk a bit about how Apple integrates everything, right? So you can integrate your messaging here. You could integrate all the Apple stuff, right, across all devices. But the two things I love the most are going to be the Apple Pencil, and alongside that is going to be the Apple like connection that you could have with your computer. I forget what they call it, but it's a thing where I could be using my computer and move my mouse onto my iPad and then also use my keyboard on my iPad as well. Those two features are really nice. Now let me explain it in more detail. So I primarily use the Apple Pencil. I'm not an artist. I wish I was, but I'm not an artist. So I use the Apple Pencil for taking notes or highlighting on my Kindle. It makes the experience so elegant instead of using my thumb to like highlight, and also for taking notes, it makes it a cool process, again, with that app Notability, so that when I write, I could easily highlight and make different changes as I'm going through using the iPad. And like I said, connecting my mouse and my keyboard is like native now with the new Apple update, so that when I just drag my mouse over, it goes onto the iPad. Let me see if I could actually do it right now. So as you can see here, this is my mouse, and I'm like doing this backwards, but this is my mouse and it's literally connected to my iPad with ease. So I can easily go through anything. And if I even want to type, I can do that as well. The devices just literally connect in 2 seconds, or like they're already connected. So as soon as I drag my mouse onto the iPad, it starts to work. And then I could pull my mouse back onto my computer and use the keyboard and the mouse with ease. The next one I'd highlight is it's great for any type of public speaking or referring to your notes. So if you don't want to be on your phone, but you still want a device, this is so easy and it's just handheld. You could set it so that the screen is locked so it doesn't turn on anytime you change direction. So I would just lock the screen and boom, just like that, I have it set. So then I could easily just keep it as is and go through the day and be able to share and look at the notes here. It's beautiful. The biggest update I wish they had is Notion, allowing you to change the font size on the actual device. You can't do that right now, but overall, everything else is really, really beautiful. So if you use the Notes app, you'd be able to make the font really large. That's really easy. But when it comes to Notion, that doesn't work. Anyway, my point here, if you are public speaking, it's light enough that you could just hold with one hand, be able to move around really easily. The battery life is great, so it just lasts really long. And again, it's just so easy and portable, and you don't necessarily have to be stuck on your phone, possibly getting notifications. Now, let me go through this point. These are all the main apps I use currently on the device, some of my favorites. Number one, obviously, is gonna be Kindle. I use Kindle here all the time. Number two, I'd say YouTube or any other video channel that you watch. This is a great device for it. The memory is more than enough. Again, I got like a 32 gig or something like that. It's really basic. So let me actually just check. iPad storage. Oh, okay, so I got the 64 gig and I'm actually using 57 gigs right now. Most of that is apps. Let me see, I got 12 gigs of photos. Netflix is taking 7 gigs. Spotify is taking 4. Kindle is taking 4. So yeah, that's it. It's not anything crazy though, as you can see here. That's currently what my breakdown is. So 57 gigs is great. I could probably easily offload a lot of this stuff, especially the photos. And I think the photos are big because of the actual video. I'm taking videos on here. Also, the camera quality is excellent. So if you're doing FaceTime calls and you want to use this as your actual device, this is great. So you could have your phone on the side and you could just use this. It's beautiful, simple, easy. Also, it charges with a USB-C. There's so many things I could talk about. It's USB-C, which is what your laptop is if you have a MacBook Pro or a MacBook whatever Air or anything. It's all the same charger, so it makes that process really easy. I hope they bring that to the iPhone coming up here soon. Anyway, let's get back to my favorite apps. So I said YouTube or any kind of video app. I also use YouTube Studio because I create YouTube content, so I love checking it here. Endo is a great app for like music. I don't know what you'd call it. It's really smart technology for like music. I don't know if you call it music or soundscapes, that's the word. It creates soundscapes in this cool design. Also, again, these cool designs are great on the iPad, so I could just leave it open next to me. So as you can see here, it's like waving through, which is tight. And then there's like different designs it does. And again, this iPad size is great. Finally, I use Safari and voice memos a lot. And I already mentioned Notability. I use that app a lot to capture notes and things. I have a paid account with them. But this entire experience, beautiful. So it's a little bit too small to replace a computer. I wouldn't recommend that. The size is pretty tiny. And then again, I don't think iPads are made to replace computers, even though they're kind of getting into that. I think some other YouTubers have made some really great content explaining if it could ever replace a computer. But as a middle device, it is fantastic. It's better than any iPad I've ever owned, and I've owned a bunch of them. It's better than any other like secondary device I've owned to try to replace my main laptop or my phone. This device has been excellent through and through. So I probably spent $700 all around for the entire setup, the case, the pencil, and the actual iPad. But if you have any other questions, drop them down below. If this video pops off, I'll make more videos like this. Hit the like button if you got value from the video. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.